Hello friends, welcome back in another video, and this video will be about socializing, one of the key secrets of language learning. Um, okay, I will talk about that because I don't know. A few weeks ago, Steve Kaufman made some videos about his secrets to learn foreign languages, and I I agree on all seven secrets he told us, but I would like to add some of my personal secrets which worked for me. Maybe it doesn't work for you, but it worked for me. So okay, let's just talk about socializing. For me, it's very important because some people may ask me, how do you choose your languages? How do you get involved in learning a language? How do you stick with a language? I know. Well, it's very strange, but I don't learn a language just because I chose it. I learn a language because I've met people who share culture with me, and if I'm interested in the culture, I keep learning the language, and if I have the opportunity to practice the language on a daily basis, well, I will have more and more opportunities to develop my knowledge. So, what Steve Kaufman said is that there is like a period where you're having some input, and then when you have enough words, you will start to speak with people. This is an approach. I have another approach. I tend to use every little word or expression I learn, and right away. I'll take an example. For example, I'm learning Turkish right now, and what I did, I'm learning Turkish and Arabic at the same time. Okay, and I'll explain to you how I go about learning those two languages. Since you know Arabic is a very heavy grammar language, so we should know some details before taking it further. So yeah, I was cramming a little bit more grammar for Arabic, and for Turkish a little bit less because I learned Japanese, at least intermediate Japanese. So I know that Japanese is very similar in terms of grammar with Korean and Turkish, so it helps a lot. So, for example, if we take an example in Arabic, the sentence always begins with the verb. Actually, if it's not an interrogative sentence, it's always the verb. Uh, you will, for example, say. يدرس الطلاب الفلسفة, which means يدرس is he learns, الطلاب the students, الفلسفة philosophy. So it's not like English. You say they learn. No, you say he learns, and then they say you put the subject, which is plural, but the verb is singular. So it's a little bit tricky. You have to get used to the Arabic structure in your mind, and don't just pay attention. Just pay attention to the structure when you read. Okay. For Turkish, well, my brain was thinking in Japanese actually when I was learning the basics of Turkish language, because, for example, if you say in Japanese, I read a book at home, ie de hon o yomimasu. Ie means a house, de means in. So house in, hon book, o as a particle which says that what you are reading is a book. Hon o yomimasu. Yomimasu is read, to read conjugated. Okay, I read. If you say it in Turkish, it is evde kitap okuyorum. Ev is house, de is in, So house in, kitap is book, okuyorum is to read. So the structure is actually the same in Turkish and Japanese. It's the contrary of French, English, uh, Italian, other Romance languages. So if you will learn Turkish, Korean, or Japanese, it's very good for the brain because you have to think in another way. But if you learn like just Romance languages or maybe just European languages, which are not too different, you have just one way of thinking the structure of a sentence. And I was talking about socializing. Well, what is socializing? I mean, I I love to use the language right away. So what I do is that when I have an opportunity, I practice the language. And for instance, with my Turkish, I speak right now way better Turkish than Arabic because I practice a lot. And I when, for example, there is a I have a friend, let's say a friend A. I learn an expression with him, and I go back to a person B, and I use the expression I just learned with this morning with the person A, and in the afternoon I'm using this expression with the person B and C and D, E, and then you will not forget those expressions if you use them a lot. If you just listen and you just read them and don't use them, for me it's very hard to remember what they mean, how you're gonna say them. And socializing is also is about using the language whenever it's possible. I remembered I was in a tram. A tram is like, I don't know how to explain. It's like a train, but on the street, okay, and smaller, and public transport here in my city. And yeah, I met some Turkish people, and they were talking, and just I was, we had a problem because I wanted to sit on a seat, and he reserved a seat for someone of his family. I don't know. I say okay, no problem. And he asked in Turkish to his wife, "Do you want a seat?" She said, "It's okay, no problem." So he told me in French, "You can have a seat." And I've said, kusura bakmayın. I just use the expression kusura bakmayın, which means sorry. And yeah, they started a conversation, telling me, "Oh, Türkçe konuşuyor musunuz?" Which means, "Do you speak Turkish?" I said, "Evet, biraz konuşuyorum." I speak a little bit, and I start a conversation like that. If I don't know the word, I ask it in French, but I keep it going, and no matter how many words I know, they will be eager to help you. This is what I do. And actually, in front of my university, there are some Turkish supermarkets. I go there, and I go shopping in Turkish. If I buy a sandwich, I try to say I would like a sandwich with prawns, or I don't know, but I try to say it just in Turkish and not use the local language, which is French here. So I try to force myself to learn by using the language. And socializing is also having a lot of friends around you who speaks the language. So I can get I can actually keep motivation just if I have natives and friends who speaks it. Amongst them, and when I just pop in their group, I just try to speak and understand what they're talking about. And the more words you know, the more you will understand, and the more enjoyable it will be. And yeah, I uh, learning a language is not always about books and reading and listening. It's mainly about that because it's input, but it is also about output and socializing. It means that to learn Turkish, I wanted to understand a little bit more about the Turkish culture, the Turkish cuisine. So I went to here in the Turkish district restaurant which sells pide. Pide is like a Turkish pizza. If you don't know, you can type PIDE on Google images, and you'll see that they are long like that. And when I go to the restaurant, I try to order just in Turkish. I try to have some conversations. It worked, but I lacked a lot of words, so I need more input. But at least those expressions, those words I learned during I was socializing, well, I don't forget them. This is very important. If you want to learn any language, you should just use what you learn. Just use, because if you don't use, you forget. And also, so I went to the restaurant. I went to the cinema with my Turkish friend. I speak every day. We eat baklava together, and we have fun. And all is about fun. And yeah, they teach me expressions that you cannot translate in any other language, like yere bakan, yure yakan, or helal olsun. If you know Turkish, you know what I'm talking about. Or dört gözle bekliyorum. If you translate to dört gözle bekliyorum, it means I'm waiting it with four eyes. But it's not so logical in English. It's logical in Turkish because it means that you're waiting it. You're impatient. You really want to get something, and you're waiting it like that. It's dört gözle bekliyorum. I waited with the four eyes. And so this video was about socializing. You gotta get some context somehow, because if you want to get fluent, you gotta practice. You gotta just use it. Whatever you learn, you just use it. And if you have the opportunity to use it, just use it, and you'll see that if you use once, twice, three times, four times, you will not forget what you learned. If you just learn it and don't use it, the word will be in your brain, but you will have some difficulties to uh, outer to use those words. And this is what happens with English. So I never speak English, and that's why my English is not so good. I just have had a lot of input. I have to say that YouTube helped me a lot to learn English, because I was watching videos from people of people talking in English about topics I liked. For example, about Japanese culture and all that stuff. And I highly recommend you to do that. Watch TV shows, movies, soap operas, whatever you like, you watch it in the language, and you force yourself to use the language, which means that if you have an iPod, if you have Facebook, if you have YouTube, if you have, I don't know, Twitter, put everything in the language. I put my cell phone in Turkish, and I learn a lot of new words because I forced myself to use Turkish. So use as much as you can the language. This is one of the secrets I wanted to share with you. And if you have other ideas, thoughts about this subject, if you can correct my English, it would be great. Thank you all, and I'll make other videos to help you guys with some tips. Okay, goodbye.